What's a good word, everyone? It's your boy DKB here. I just want to say thanks for all the support. The channel's been steadily growing, and the number you see below, you can drop a text, shoot a voicemail, any ideas, topics, collabs, etc. you guys want to see. I'll include them in future videos and live streams, and I'll catch you again. Be easy. What's the good word, Jets fans? It's your boy DKB here. I wanted to give 3 special shout outs to start this video. This is my first airbag, so shout out to Dark Soldier for the nickname here and kind of some of the the background for it as well. If I don't find a better one, this is probably going to stick for sure. So appreciate you, my guy. These videos I'm hoping to drop weekly. As mentioned, if you guys hit the number that's on the screen, you guys can leave a text or voicemail with comments, questions, etc. And I'm going to roll them into these videos, and hopefully as we get more and more of those, these videos will get longer. Then at some point I plan on transforming these into a live stream. But this second shout out, this goes to Anthony Ward. Appreciate you, my guy. You left a voicemail. I know you wanted to chat and had some questions about what may be coming up with the New York Jets, so I'm going to hit you back. Appreciate you reaching out. And last but definitely not least is James Baker, another OG Jets fan. I tend to have a lot of the guys that obviously are a little bit older in the Jets fandom lore, but I definitely appreciate you 100%. You reach out on almost every single video, or maybe in fact every single video. Since you found my channel, you always have great words of encouragement for me, and just the support and getting the word out there and everything means a ton to me, right? Again, being on the West Coast, being a little bit more introverted, I never really figured I would have kept up with something like this long anyways. But it definitely means a ton that the older generation of New York Jets fans would even be willing to listen to the content and kind of interact and all that stuff. So I appreciate you. I'll definitely be keeping it going and moving forward, and looking forward to you, sticking along for the ride. So with that said, we had 2 primary comments, right, that came up for this particular airbag. The first one, and if it's not a specific question kind of format, I'll just drop the commentary on the screen somewhere for you guys. But the mention here was that Tyrod Taylor shouldn't start over Aaron, and it depends on what the context is. I know I dropped the video mentioning that I would have started Tyrod once we were out of playoff contention to see how he interacts with his teammates, to see what this offense looks like. Now, we may run a completely different scheme, but chemistry is chemistry. And so I wanted to see what that looks like. And of course, seeing what Aaron Rodgers looked like when he was mobile versus Tyrod Taylor, who's not a supreme athlete, but definitely can use his legs and has a little bit more escapability and all that kind of stuff. Let's see what this looks like with a little bit more youth at quarterback while still retaining that veteran expertise, right? The other flip side to that would be if it was from the standpoint of having Tyrod Taylor as the starting quarterback next year. I still, and I will stand behind this no matter what, am fully supportive of moving on from Aaron Rodgers next year, right? I know this end-of-year run that he's been on has changed some minds for people. And really, I look at it pretty simplistically, right? There's no expectations. There's no pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And so whether it's a combination of Todd Downing being a little bit better of a play caller than Nathaniel Hackett, whether it's the fact that there are less expectations and pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and so now he's just, free balling it out there and letting it rip. I don't know. There's also, some of the nuanced things in like his accuracy taking a huge, incline or increase, right? We've seen a ton of off-ball marks for him, which were very uncharacteristic throughout the season. And so this could be, and this tends to feel like how all Jet seasons go once we're out of contention. Suddenly quarterback play elevates. Suddenly playmakers seem like they're there. Suddenly the offensive line seems like there may be a piece or two, right? The offensive line is the only thing that maybe offers some consistency in my opinion. And so I still look at this as Aaron Rodgers tried to accomplish what we all expected, but ultimately was a failure. I know we have the lost year, but now we have this season as well. And there was really never any leeway for Aaron Rodgers to kind of have that acclimation period. If any, it would have been year 1. And so with him losing that to injury, this trade that we got for him was always Super Bowl or bust. So with that said, seeing kind of how the front office, seeing how the coaching staff, seeing how even a lot of the teammates have deteriorated over this season, you have to wash the plate clean and get a fresh start in there. So that's really where I'm taking it from. I don't think it's too much of a step back. And hear me out when I'm saying this. Aaron Rodgers, when he's the guy that we all know and expected to see, which would be a version of what we've seen in the Dolphins game, unstoppable. And I think we definitely are talking about being in a playoff run right now if we got this version of Aaron Rodgers all year. But considering that and he didn't really have any major injuries, right, according to what we know, but nicks, bruises that added up, and we've seen a steep decline in how he played out there on the field, how he connected with the team, how he portrayed that to the media. It's just time to move on. So that's kind of where I'm at there. The other questions were centered around Ben Johnson. So what's the latest on Ben Johnson? Is there going to be an interview scheduled? And then it looks like you have some interest in Vrabel as kind of your 1-2 combination there, right? So on the Ben Johnson front, there really hasn't been a ton of news. Excuse me. But from what I gather, from what I picked up, there is growing optimism, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, that Ben Johnson may actually return, right? He may go out there and do interviews and kind of go on his tour and figure out what life after the Lions look like. But there seems to be this vision that's finally kind of coming together where Ben Johnson doesn't find the perfect situation for him. He's fully comfortable staying with Detroit. And so, based on kind of what I talked about before, where we know he wants complete front office synergy, right? That's as simplistically as I can say it, his dream job. That's not necessarily the New York Jets right now. Right now, we could go out and, if we take a look at our earlier plans, we could have hired the best president of operations. We could have hired the best general manager possible. And that still may not have been enough for Ben Johnson, right? When he walks through, when he kind of hears what we have to say. So I'm kind of waiting on it, right? You take a look at the Patriots job, for example, Jerome Mayo just getting fired. Mike Vrabel just seems like that perfect, fitting puzzle piece for them right now. Then you take a look at Ben Johnson, and I would say it's maybe a 55% likely chance that he stays with the Lions. And I expect that number to grow as kind of, teams talk themselves out of winning over Ben Johnson. I would say, excuse me, I would say those two guys are probably out of the running for us. And so now you start looking at all these other names that have been thrown out there. Your Aaron Glenn's, who's starting to become more connected with the Saints. You start looking at Liam Cohen and seeing if you can pull him away from the Bucs. You really start taking a look at a lot of these guys that we probably expect to, we do an interview just for the sake of doing it. But, I don't think that we'll be able to press or put Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson in the situation where you say, I can't decline this job. So if they take it, it's really because they feel like this is the best possible destination for them, the best possible sustained level of success. And that's just not the New York Jets bag. Unfortunately, it's not what we're known for. So I hope Woody Johnson and whoever the company is that completes part of these interviews really does have a strong game plan for speaking to a lot of the root cause issues that we have, how they want to go about addressing those. But right now, it feels like both of those candidates are unlikely to me. So I'll be digging deep again, kind of looking at who I've already done head coach breakdowns for, kind of seeing who else we have out there on the list. I know I talked about Matt Campbell from Iowa State being a recent one that's being tossed out there. So we'll see how that pans out, but that's kind of my thoughts and expectations. And as far as Ben Johnson goes, the current updates with him. So let me know ultimately what you guys think. And again, moving forward, you guys can hit the number that was at the beginning of the video. If you want to leave questions, comments, etc. Appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you again. Peace.